Mental health is still an overlooked topic in many societies. In some countries, it is a taboo to even talk about depression.
For most populations who cannot use words, art therapy can be a beautiful medium to express themselves. So it's very powerful because your whole being is involved in expressing what you're going through.
Hi everyone, welcome back to BizStation India. This is Yumeka, and we interview business owners from various different industries here in Delhi, India, and hear about their inspiring stories of their business or industry. So today we're inviting this Vasvi, who is one of the few expressive art therapy facilitators here in India, and also a co-founder of one of the few expressive art therapy organization, Abhyaantar Healing Arts, and also a board member of Expressive Art Therapy Association in India. Of India, yes. Okay, thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
So the first question is, I'm very curious, how did you choose this path of career in your life?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I started out with a master's in psychology, but I specialized in organizational psychology, and I was in the corporate sector doing consulting in human resources with different organizations for about 7 years. And I had already started to get restless in my job because it just wasn't fulfilling enough for me anymore. And I had a lot of existential crisis. I had questions coming up about how am I contributing to the world. What if I die tomorrow, what legacy am I leaving? Those kind of questions. So then I wanted to do something that would leave an impact, even if it was one person or two people that I was impacting in a good way, making their life better in some way. That would be so much more fulfilling.
Yes.
So it was a no-brainer that I wanted to switch to something that would be more meaningful, more impactful. And because I had a background in psychology, and at the same time I used to do a lot of recreational art on my own. I used to practice visual art, drawing, painting, and I knew how powerful it can be when you get into the zone of flow, when you're creating any kind of art. How light you feel, and how stress-free you become at the end of it. That is when I felt that I wanted to definitely amalgamate the power of art with psychology, with my background in psychology. And then I started looking for options, and that's when I found out that there's already an established form of a field of therapy which is called art therapy. And I started looking for career options in that area. And that was the time when I was living in the US, and I could not really, because of work permit reasons, I couldn't practice there. I came back to India, and I found a beautiful diploma course in expressive arts therapy in Chennai. And it was a no-brainer. It was simple that I had to follow that path. And I got myself educated in expressive arts therapy, did my diploma course. And then after that, soon after, my friend and I, Nishtha, who's the business partner in Abhyaantar Healing Arts, we started this organization to work with individuals and groups using expressive arts for healing.
Okay. Was it hard to change your career at that point, or?
It wasn't hard because my life had sort of started preparing myself in that direction. I got married at that time, and I just had to take a break from my job because I moved to the US. And then it was like I had the option to start afresh. So when I came back to India, it was like I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So I could have gone back to the corporate sector as well, but I had the option to start.
Yeah. And were you always interested in people's mental health since you were studying psychology?
Absolutely. So, when I was a child, when I was a teenager in class, 8th or 9th, I knew that I wanted to pursue psychology because I wanted to understand people better. I wanted to work with people. So, from a very young age, it was a no-brainer. It was,
What is the most rewarding part of this job, expressive art therapy facilitator?
It's just being able to hold the space for people, seeing their faces when they discover something new about themselves, because the art therapy process, expressive art therapy, is so empowering. It is the facilitator or the therapist are the main thing that they need to do is to hold the space, to guide you and to prod you in the right direction, but then ultimately the power rests with you, with the client. So it's amazing to see people feel empowered to solve their own problems, to feel better on their own, so I think that is the most rewarding part.
What are within your comfort, but what are like the examples of how your clients solve their problem? Do you have any example? Can you share?
So I can of course not share specific examples, but the process of art therapy in itself is, especially the kind of therapy that the school of thought that I come from, expressive arts therapy, clearly says that just expressing is transforming, right? So the minute you start getting into expressing yourself creatively, non-verbally, that is when you start transforming, you start healing, because whatever's inside you has started to come out. Most of the time, either we don't have the words to express what we're going through, or we don't feel comfortable expressing what we are, the most intense of emotions. We keep them to ourselves. But non-verbal creative expression makes it easy and gentle for people to express the darkest, deepest, parts of them outside, and that itself makes things light, makes things makes you feel happier and stress-free and relaxed. So when people are in that zone where they are relaxed, where they're stress-free, where they're feeling light, they feel removed from the problem, right? And they're able to see solutions from a distance. Solutions come up on their own. So the job that I have to do as an art therapy facilitator is to design sessions, to design activities, to help you discover meaning, to help you discover insights for yourself. So ultimately, the work that is happening is being done by you as a client, and not by me as a therapist or facilitator. So it is empowering, because whatever insights come up through the process come up from the inside, from the inner world, inner realm of the person who's going through the process. So the emphasis is on the process and not the product. It doesn't matter what you create. What matters is what happens to you, what happens inside of you when you're creating. So it is basically, it's as effective as open the person is, the client is. So if the client is ready, if they're open to discovering something, they will always find something, inside of them. So it's very powerful. It's very empowering that way.
In contrast, what is the toughest part of this job?
Of this job, or of this organization?
Oh no, or like conducting the session.
What is the toughest part? I think it's just, for me, the most difficult thing that I've come across is that most people who come to me for art therapy want it. They have reached out because they feel that there is some light, that they would probably find some solutions through art therapy, but at the same time warming people up to creative expression, because creative expression in our society, especially in India, is not really encouraged. It is assumed that for you to create something, to make something, you have to be gifted, you have to be born with a talent. So most people are very scared, intimidated of the arts, and it takes a lot of time to help them see that it's okay, it's fine. Even if you create the ugliest thing, that's not what we're going after. And you can just to become friendly with the arts is the biggest challenge that I always encounter. So getting people to be comfortable with creative expression is it takes a lot of time.
How do you usually try to make people comfortable with the art?
So we have there are different ways for different people, but some activities like the warm up that you and I did, there's a squiggle exercise where you create something meaningless. You draw meaningless strokes, which is not intimidating. You're not being asked to create a self portrait or something which requires high skill. It's a low skill activity that you are being asked to do, but you create a relationship with the crayon and the paper through that process, and still something meaningful comes out of it. So there are different activities that can be used to help people become friendly, become more playful, and then you get into the deeper therapeutic stuff. Even the most playful and the most light activities can be therapeutic though. So the idea is to first help people become playful with the arts, and then get them into deeper work. That just follows very easily.
Yeah. So I asked you about the toughest part of the session, but what is the struggle in organizing this organization that you run?
So in India, art therapy, expressive art therapy is very nascent.
Yes.
Most people don't even know that something like this
in
exists.
In most countries, I think.
I think in most countries, yes. So in fact, the status of mental health, which we'll probably also talk about more, but mental health in India is not something that is really given priority. So art therapy is something that people can't even imagine, like what exactly could it be. So the biggest problem is to just reach out to people and say, hi, this thing exists and it's powerful and it can really help you. It can change the way you look at your life and the way you solve your problems. So it took us a lot of time to just spread the word, to reach out to people, to just help them experience how powerful it is. And then, a lot of people just on their own, through word of mouth, they started reaching out to us. And of course, our online presence also sort of, increased over a period of time. But initially, it was very hard to just even reach out to people and say, try this out.
What can you tell me examples of work you've done or projects?
Yeah, so we work with individuals. We do personal one-on-one therapy. We work with groups. So we roll out open workshops. We, in different studio spaces on different themes, on discovering yourself, getting better at relationships, different topics, and there are group processes that happen in those studios. We work with organizations as well. We worked a lot with the youth, with the college population, college going, undergrad, grads, PhDs. So there's a lot of work. In fact, the youth are actually the most open that way to trying out something like this. And so we worked with the elderly. We worked with all kinds of populations so far.
Thank you for watching this video. Please like or comment on this video if you liked it. And please don't forget to subscribe if you like this video, or if you want to hear more about Vasvi, her second part of the interview. And also we're going to be interviewing other business owners. So thank you.